Hello, my name is James, and I am going to talk about some stuff here. I watched this video today, and I've been thinking about it a lot, and I just wanted to share some of my ideas and reactions to the video. These are just all opinion. You can take it or leave it, your choice. So this is a response to this RIFC video that talks about, I kind of walked away from it. It was about the journey, appreciating good nights and bad nights, not really focusing on outcomes so much. And as I try to open this computer spot, I'm just going to read from my computer because that's easiest for me. What was I saying? About outcome, being indifferent, and I think that Tyler made a great point about appreciating the journey and really going after it every night, whether it be good and bad, it doesn't matter. It's about appreciating the journey and going after it. But I think that there are ways to practice indifference, and I'm going to present about that. So here's what I think. So the ego and the self are in constant discussion with each other. And the ego is represented by fear that is not represented. And the self is represented, I think in this case, by indifference. And just being solid, being within oneself, not caring about anyone else. And so when people get held up in their intentions, I think it's when they say, don't do this, don't do that, don't be this kind of person, that I have a vision of how I might look if I take a certain action. And whether that be true or not, we'll get to that soon. But so I think that the mind has a way of wanting to discover. It's scientific. It wants to discover information about its environment and people in its environment and itself, and how it all stays together. And when we tell ourselves don't do something, we're inhibiting that when we're not learning. So reward, it's not about learning, or it's just about getting. It's just about having something come to us, and it's not really about learning. And learning is it will last longer. The effects of learning will last longer on outcome. So I think this is because society mostly has a way of making us doing things a certain way, not doing certain things because we might think it's strange or something. It might be seen as strange, but in my opinion, life is entirely a subjective experience. And subjectivity is represented in the mind's willingness to discover. So Tyler can tell men how to do the things he does, but that doesn't mean, and they can write it down, they can study, but that doesn't mean when they go out that they can do it. You know, he always talks about, it's completely different things than talking about and actually doing it. So this is the difference between thoughts and actual actions. So it's easy to take a college course and learn about a job, for example. But actually doing the job is completely different. So, let's see what else. So when we tell ourselves not to do something, we're not learning the actual outcome of the action for ourselves. And so I think the answer is simply do, always do. And I get this vision of a tower being built. And it's being built, and then there's like a slant going that way, and it's this very haphazard castle, or this building, but it's always going up. It's never going down. It's never negative. It's always reframed as positive and always being built in some sort of way like this. So it's always about doing something, and when you always do, you develop a positive psychology, I believe, because you learn. So perhaps you might be able to see how this is not always going to lead to the reward you want. You're not going to pick up some hot girl and fuck her the first night. Well, maybe you will. There's good nights, I think, and there's bad nights. Now, I'm not really into this, but I've learned through other mediums in my life kind of about this idea. It's just in my head. That's it. There's just thoughts in my head. And I am practicing this a little bit, but so I think that So practice this would look like something of thinking of actually doing something, like being in a crowd. You tell yourself, "Oh, don't be creepy. Don't go over there. They'll think I'm this. They'll think, oh, don't be pushy. She won't want to talk to me then. Instead, do it. Just try it. Be creepy. Act creepy. You always see this with Tyler. He's acting creepy. He's coming up with these very interesting openings and very curious openings, and I think that this is like maybe it's his way of confronting the fear of not being perceived this way. So he's actually testing it. That's just my opinion. I don't know what it actually is, but so I think it's about a conversation also that you have with yourself about how much you care about something. And when you're talking to yourself in your head and you're not acting on it, you're telling yourself that you really care about it. And when you do act on it, that is completely